we're out here with Josh McCormick Lawn Care. Josh came up from Storm Lake, Iowa, and to work with us for a couple days on site and help us do this distinctive compass inlay. But just wanted to sit down with Josh and have us share a little bit about his background, the type of business he's running right now, and what he thinks about the hardscaping industry. So welcome, Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you for sitting on the custom seat wall with me, view of the Wisconsin River here. So. Yeah, you mentioned like starting your business in high school, or kind of how have you evolved to wanting to come out on a hardscape site like this, right?
Yeah, so my dad's actually an accountant for a hog investment company, and we started out, they gave us some hog sites in high school to mow, and when I went to college, they ended up giving us a lot of their hog sites, so I was able to take that opportunity and, kind of start the business like a lot of people in the mowing side, and then I went to 2 years of college, so after that got done, people were like, hey, can you do some edging here and there? And I didn't really want to, but as I got into it, I love the art side of it, and I love designing things, and everybody loves the before and after. So slowly picked up a job here, picked up a job there. Next thing you know, we were doing patios and outdoor living spaces, and
so it started with commercial mowing, I would say.
Yeah, pretty
much.
much.
Farm is kind of commercial mowing, led into some residential markets, if you will, which then you started to see the first thing was just putting in landscape edging.
Yeah.
Creating a bed for someone that they never had before.
Right.
That's kind of how it evolved.
Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of these lawn care guys evolve. Let me put a planting bed in space in for you, and then edging, and then a patio, right?
Yep.
So there's a certain time in your life when you did your first paver patio.
Yeah.
Is that right? How long ago do you think that was?
Oh, geez. 6 years maybe.
Sure.
So guys in town helped me out. So another landscaping company, I'm good friends with them, and they we got the job, and I was like, hey, do you want this job? And he's like, hey, how about, we just do it together. So
that's a good way to do it.
We ended up doing it together, and since then, every job we learned so much.
So teamed up with a guy who maybe had a little bit more experience?
Yeah, they're, I think, in their 40s.
Yeah, right. And they had a little bit more experience than you.
Oh, yeah.
Local guy, same market.
Yep.
And was willing to team up with you on your first paver patio.
Yeah, they helped me out so much. So they
still to this day.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Linen equipment. If I got questions, they're always answering. Now that we're doing more stuff, I can kind of give them some stuff too. So it's nice.
Well, that's an amazing story, because I think there's a lot of negative connotations that come along with hanging out with local people, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of local contractors don't want to talk to each other. I always think at this day and age, it's a benefit to know everyone in your market who does what you do, and that's an example of it right there.
Yeah.
That's really cool and awesome of those guys. That was maybe your first hardscape mentor to some extent,
Probably,
right?
yeah.
That's really cool. So now we're doing hardscape projects every season.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much me and my brother, we do all the landscaping, hardscaping. And then my mom and, part-timers do all the mowing, so.
You keep the lawn care part going.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just nice extra income. And
So is that residential and commercial still?
Pretty much all the hog sites.
Still.
And then we got like 10 commercial properties. We don't really do any residential mowing. And
you and your brother enjoy putting in these outdoor living spaces.
Oh yeah, we love it. I love just like the art, I love designing things, and I try to be different, I try to create things that people haven't done before, or people, we're in a small area, like 10,000 people in Storm Lake, and so I try to, do things that no one else has done around the lakes. Either way, you can make a name
for yourself.
Yeah,
right?
for
and
sure.
Then it would just grow from there.
Yeah.
You never know, just by separating yourself in your own little market. That's how I took it too. It's like, I want to be known as the paver guy in Wisconsin Rapids, and if you get to that goal, and then you never know what the future holds if you keep separating yourself like that.
Yeah, and since it's, just my brother, we get some helpers in the summer, but, we're just always trying to make sure things are done perfect.
The plan is to keep it small for a while.
Yeah, like obviously we want to make money, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to provide the best product to the customer, and I want to have a relationship after the job with those people. So
awesome.
It's not like we're just putting in a patio and hiking our way out of there. So no, I love the whole process, from design to creating things that people didn't think they could have in their backyard. Yeah. So
I love your mindset to keeping it small, even for a little while, just to have your be all over the quality, all over the customer service, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So
no, I like being on site, so it's I'm not a huge organizer, so I don't want to have to organize separate crews and, you know, line up a bunch of jobs. I like to do the sales. I like to, you know, go out. I'm always designing, so even after we're, you know, installing things, I still want to, you know, try to make the space better.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said for the guy who designed it being on site every day.
Right.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like, that is an avenue that you can take. That is a structure you can have, and there's a lot of homeowners that appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
100%,
for sure.
Yeah. So that leads me to Hardscape Mentor. So I guess along with the guy who helped you get into your first patio, I just feel like you're the kind of guy who's always gathering resources. And like I ran into you at a couple of seminars, you know, over the winter time. So always looking for new resources to take things to the next level, right?
Yeah. So my wife's in, you know, med school, and I'm going to be traveling a bunch. So Gabe, my brother, he just, you know, I want to get more resources for him since I'm not going to be there. I mean, social media is such a huge thing. Everything I learned was on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, like, that's what they say nowadays.
And so I wanted to provide something a little better for Gabe. So, I mean, I've been following your work for a few years. So, and then I saw you started Hardscape Mentor, and I followed that for, I don't know, a year before we signed up. And yeah, it's awesome. It's just, especially now being here, watching you do it, it's like, what you see in the video is you. It's like you're just, you know, laid back. You're just making sure everything's how you want it to be. And I mean, some other training guides, it's like you're not listening to the guy who's out there installing it. So to hear you kind of talk through the job, and then you're the one making the cuts. Ty's doing some of them,
right.
but
Exactly.
You're the guy doing everything. So it's just, I think it's more fitting for us to learn from.
A little bit more relatable, I guess. Right? We're the same person, right? We're hanging out here for the last couple of days, and I love just seeing how you've kept an eye, you know, the past 6 years you've been doing these hardscapes, and I can just tell you've kept an eye on the same things. I mean, when we're out here talking and I'm looking at certain things, you're looking at the same thing. Yeah. So that was pretty cool to see, and, you know, inspiring for me to see that whatever we're teaching in Hardscape Mentor is actually getting out there or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
To be able to have your brother have a resource when you're out of town. That's another way, you know, people are signing up for Hardscape Mentor to give back to their crews and give some trainings because they can't always be on site. So, yeah, I mean, I love the Facebook group too. It's like, you know, they got these other Facebook groups with 20,000 members, but I mean, you don't know what you're getting when you write something on there. So, I mean, the Facebook group is awesome just to, you know, ask a question, and you know, you're not going to get brutalized, whether it's, you know, a stupid question or, you know, people might even learn from your question. So, no, the Facebook group is awesome too, especially, you know, if we just got a quick question, we can throw it in there, and you're probably going to have 3 or 4 guys give you a pretty reasonable response. And I was going to say, one of those guys is you sometimes, and I also appreciate that. You know, Josh is willing to lend his knowledge when someone asks a question that he knows the answer to. So, and I like that you brought up the herd community. I mean, I think that's what I love most about getting, you know, herd members out on site, is getting to know them, getting to know their story, help them whatever comes up on their path, and then just solidify the positive group that we have going on right now. Like you said it with the Facebook group, and then we have the monthly masterminds. I think we're growing a network where guys are getting to know names and faces, and I feel like we all have a bunch of allies across the country now that we wouldn't have known otherwise, right?
For sure. Social media is it's a growing tool.
Just like us getting together, and you coming up here from Iowa to work on our site. So
some guy in Wisconsin Rapids. Otherwise, I would have no idea.
Like 2 small towns, right? Storm Lake, Iowa, and Wisconsin Rapids. If you have to Google them, that's fine with us. So no, thanks for sitting down with us. We got another half a day's worth of work here. We're pumping out a distinctive inlay, but thank you so much for sitting down with us. Thank you so much for being a member of the herd. And hope to see you again, even when you take off after today. So
for sure. Man. Thanks for that.
Thank you so much. One herd, baby. Thank you.